So, welcome to our Dream Big call, and I'm going to just get right to it and introduce our guest speaker today, Lindy Gault. She and I have been working in a mastermind group, and she has done amazing. You've been a coach about the same amount of time as me, 4.5 years?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. We're like twins, can't you tell? I just want to say I just did my hammer and chisel workout, but I did take a shower and I did put on makeup. And Gabriel, you look like me. We're twins. So
I just did my hammer and chisel too, and I didn't take a shower.
Did you do chisel balance today?
What?
Chisel balance?
Actually, I'm one day off from the schedule, so I did chisel cardio today.
Chisel balance. I'm glad it's over. So anyway, where was I? Lindy has been a coach 4.5 years. She was I don't know, what did you do in your previous life, Lindy? Besides you work yourself into the ground.
Yes. I was a health club director.
Okay.
Before becoming a coach, actually.
So she had a passion for fitness, only she was building somebody else's dream instead of her own and working tons and tons of hours. And I'm sure that took you away from your husband quite a bit. But
Yes.
She is a 6-star diamond. She's a Success Club 10 legend, 39 months in a row. And she is a 2014 elite. And she's a new mom. So this is your first little baby. So she is dealing with all of that. But the beautiful part about this is she's now living her own dream, working for herself. She does operate her own fitness studio. She teaches group exercise, but she is living her own dream and, making more money, I'm sure, than you were making working 60 hours a week working for somebody else. So yeah. I'm going to turn it over to Lindy. She's going to tell us how she rocks her challenge groups, because I know that keeping challenge groups fresh is always one of the things that, more seasoned coaches struggle with. And then new coaches are always kind of wondering, well, how do I get started in that? So Lindy, I will turn it over to you.
All right. Awesome. Thanks. And thanks so much for having me on your team call today. Hello, everyone. I'm just going to jump right in since Deborah's already covered my introduction. Like she said, though, I had a career in fitness before getting started as a coach, but really that I kind of fell into because I was passionate about fitness as well. It's not something that I went to school for or anything. So all of this has come about because I simply love to help people. I love to share health and fitness with others. And it's probably quite similar to what got you all started as coaches as well. But I attribute much of my success as a coach to how I run my challenge groups. And I believe it's what has allowed me to become a Success Club 10 All-Star legend, as well as to find a majority of my coaches. Actually, all but one of my diamond coaches are people who were in my challenge groups originally and then became coaches and then went on to rock the business from there. So I really have found a groove with them. I've been doing challenge groups since they came out. I've, tried different things along the way. I've had some things that have flopped and some things that have done really good. So what I thought I would do is share with you some of my best tips in terms of what I do with my groups, how I run them, and then some of the things that help me to transfer people into becoming coaches out of challenge groups as well. So some of this may be stuff that you already know and that you've heard before, but Deborah actually spoke on my team call last week, and one of the things we agreed upon is sometimes it's just nice for coaches to hear something from somebody else. You may have heard some of these things before from Deborah or from another coach, but it just helps because it reiterates the fact that there isn't some kind of secret that everybody's doing. A lot of these things are things that you're going to hear from a lot of different coaches. So let me just dive right in. The first thing that I do is I make sure that I'm promoting for my group at least 3 weeks in advance of when I'm going to have it run. And the reason for that is because over the past 4.5 years, well, I guess probably more like 3.5 since challenge groups came out, but I have learned that that's about how long it takes to get people, to promote what you're doing, to start having conversations with people, to be able to have enough of a conversation with them that you are actually learning about them and their goals and being able to talk to them about how you can help them. And then that turnaround time of when they actually place an order and when they get it. So I always promote far enough in advance in order to do that. And then as far as the group goes, I always do a prep week. I really have, ever since 21 Day Fix came out, that's pretty much all I run anymore, because it seems like my clientele is women. That's pretty much what they want to do. I am going to do, of course, a hammer and chisel group. I'm starting mine in January. Whenever a new program launches, I will do a group specifically for that program launch. But over the last couple of years since 21 Day Fix came out, my groups have all pretty much gone back to being 21 Day Fix groups each month. So I do a prep week. A lot of coaches do just a couple of days, but I have found over time that throwing people into it that quickly can be tough for them, you know, especially because most groups will start on Mondays. That's another one of my tips, is to always start on Monday. And most groups will start on Mondays, and if you're giving them only a couple days of prep, then that means you're starting them out, you know, on a Friday or a Saturday. A lot of people aren't on Facebook, and they're not really thinking about that kind of stuff on the weekend. And so come Monday, they feel like they're behind the 8 ball, rather than that they're prepared and they're ready to go to be successful. So it works out perfectly with 21 Day Fix groups, since 21 Day Fix obviously is 3 weeks long. All of my groups are 4 weeks, basically. So I do a prep week. In that prep week, I have everyone introduce themselves and share their goals. And I think that this is a really key piece, because a lot of the people that are going to be in these groups don't know each other. And it's a great chance for them to connect with the other people in the group, kind of see what they have in common, see that they're going to be a part of a group that's like-minded people who are working towards the same things. And it gives you a chance to interact with them and, again, continue to build that relationship with them, which is key. So I have them introduce themselves, you know, kind of say who they are, where they're from, maybe what they do for a living, or how many kids they have. Why they're in the group is that key piece. I have them share that with everyone. This is why I'm doing this. You know, I've gotten so off track with my health and fitness, or I don't do anything for myself, or I have a reunion coming up, whatever it is. I have them share that and what their goals are for the following 3 weeks. Sometime within that week, I have them take their stats, and I'm sure that's something that you guys all do as well. But here's what I do with mine. I put it in there, and I list out, you know, what they need to do, which is taking their measurements, their pictures. What else? Measurements and pictures are the main thing, and their weight. And I give them a how to take your measurements like link. It's just like a, you know, something I found on Google to help them, because that's something people struggle with. But I make them comment done when they have done it. And I will actually call them out if people don't comment, because I want to make sure that this is something they're doing, because I'm sure that you guys have run into this. You'll get to the end of a challenge group, and people won't be able to tell that they got results because they don't have something to compare it to, especially when it's, you know, a 3-week group. So I have them all comment done they have to do that by the Sunday before we start. I look at that thread on that Sunday, and if there's anybody that hasn't commented, I just call them out and say, hey, have you done this? I want to make sure that you're ready to go for tomorrow. So also during that prep week, I just do things like give them resources for how to get prepared. You know, I tell them to make sure they've read through their material. I do a simple educational document that is something I've created that's just basically, you know, clear out your kitchen, tell the people who are around you the most in your life what it is that you're doing, and tell them you need their support. You know, all those kinds of things that are going to help them to be successful. But the prep week is very casual. It's just meant to help them get going. I say ask any questions that you have before we get started, and then I really rally them up for that start day, which is going to be on that Monday, of course. Tips for as far as what I do in the groups that I think have made them key. And one thing I didn't mention when I started the call was that I actually do have clients, of course, that repeat, you know, groups throughout the year, but I've had clients that have jumped into groups with other coaches and then come back to me and said, it just wasn't the same as your group. So what I'm sharing with you is the stuff that I think is key to what I've done within those groups. So I post each day first thing in the morning. So I kind of have my day structured, and even when I was working, this is what I would do. When I would wake up in the morning, the first thing I would do is read through their check-ins from the night before, and I'm going to cover that as well. And then I would do my post for the day so that it was there first thing in the morning. Everybody has different times of day that they're able to get online and to check, you know, into the group. That way it's there for them no matter what time of day they're able to check. And it also shows that I am, you know, I'm thinking of them first thing in the morning. I'm there to help them get going. I'm their coach. So I post first thing in the morning. Anytime that I post, I tag everyone in the post. And I know that, you know, people are in all kinds of Facebook groups now. So that's actually the reason that I do this. I want to draw their attention to that post each day and remind them, hey, I'm here. I know who you are. You're a part of this group. I'm connected with you. And I want to also be able to pull their attention in there because we have so many, you guys, you know, so many things going on all the time. And I don't know about you, but when you open Facebook and you've got 25 different notifications, it can be hard to know which ones are the most important or to go to them. But if you see that you were tagged in something, you go and check that out, right? So I tag them to draw their attention. Throughout the time during the 3 weeks, I do a variety of posts. So I don't use Beachbody's templates, but I have taken those and pulled some of the posts out of them that I think are good. I tend to think that Beachbody's templates for their challenge groups, they have a little too much salesy stuff in them for me. So I kind of pull those out and I put other things in. And I do a variety of posts. Some are motivational, some are educational, some are support, some of them are tough love. I will admit that I am not good when it comes to recipes because I'm not a cook. So I really have to call on other coaches to help, you know, resources for that kind of stuff. And I'm also not somebody who does a lot of the, you know, fun stuff that other coaches do. And that's really just because it's my personality. So it's not in any way to say that you shouldn't do that. I just tend to be a, you know, let's get down to business. This is what you're doing. This is what you're here for, that kind of thing. I'm not a big, like, sweaty selfie person. Not at all saying that that's not okay. It's just not a part of what I do because it's just my personality. So I do a variety of posts. Like I said, I tag everyone. And then what I do is I have a check-in system. And this is what has been really key. And maybe you're already using one of these in your groups. But I give them this during the prep week, but then I require that they check in at the end of every day. And that is the accountability factor. You know, that's what they wanted. That's what they asked you for, was to hold them accountable to their goals. So I give them a check-in system, and it's a 5-point system. And the 5 points are, number 1, drink your Shakeology. 2 is follow the meal plan. So since I do 21-day fix groups mostly, it means just adhering to the foods that are approved on the 21-day fix. The 3rd one is adhering to the portion control side of 21-day fix, since obviously that is the key piece in 21-day fix. The 4th is doing the assigned workout of the day. I also throw in there or a comparable 30-minute workout. So if they, for some reason, don't do that assigned workout and they do something else, as long as they're doing a 30-minute workout. And then the 5th one is drinking half their weight in ounces of water. So making sure they're getting the water. So it's those 5 points. And what I have found is that helps them so much because it can be overwhelming for people when they're getting started. They're trying to make all these changes to their habits. They're jumping in on this new, you know, fitness program and nutrition routine. And each day they can feel overwhelmed by what they feel like they're supposed to do. But by having these 5 points, every day they know exactly what they're trying to strive for. And the other thing that it does is allows me to see where they're falling short. Where, you know, if at the end of the day when they check in, if I see that somebody is regularly saying they got a 3 out of 5, I will say, hey, you know, Susan, I noticed that you're getting a 3 out of 5 most days. What are the points that you're struggling the most with? And then I'm able to really talk to them about those points. And quite often, it's that same 1 or 2 points that the person is struggling with on a day-to-day basis, and that thing is going to be key for them. So that check-in system has been really crucial for me. It's something that I've shared with my entire team and that they do as well. I mentioned earlier that my posts are a variety of posts. One of the main things that I do that I think that a lot of coaches maybe don't do is that I provide a lot of education. So I don't just do, you know, quick motivational posts. I'll actually use the document section of my challenge groups, and I will upload documents that I've created that educate them on why they're doing certain things. So what I tell my clients is that I don't want you just to know what to do. I want you to know why you do it, because by knowing why you're doing something, you're going to be much more empowered to continue doing it because you understand the impact that it's going to have on you. So I do an educational document that talks about why I'm having them drink so much water. Why is it so important to be hydrated? And it kind of just breaks down what that does for you. I do an educational document about why it's important to be eating regularly throughout the day and not skipping meals. I do one of the most important lessons that I do is about the difference between fat loss and weight loss, because so many people get so caught up in the scale and the number on the scale that I do, I teach them about how the measurements are important and they need to go by how their clothes are fitting in those measurements much more than just that number on the scale, because that's what's going to keep them going, and because you're going to see results in more ways than that. So I've kind of created those documents myself, but it's stuff that you can easily, you search those topics online and you can compile information through, Google and different resources, as long as they're trusted resources. I also do things like asking questions. So I know that we all have those times when we have groups where they're really engaged and they're really excited and they're participating, and then we have ones where it's like pulling teeth to get them to do anything. And when that happens, I usually throw in questions, to try and get them engaged. So I'll do something fun like, Tuesday trivia or whatever, and get them engaged by saying there's no wrong answer here, but I want to see what you guys think. And then that becomes an educational opportunity as well. I give shout outs to people, when people are doing really great. I see that somebody has a 5, 4 days in a row. I give a shout out to them and we all cheer each other on. Another important thing that I do that I have actually gotten, direct messages from clients thanking me for is I announce the Shakeology auto ship within my groups. I remind them about that. So it depends, when the group starts, but about a week to 10 days in, or, anywhere between 2 and 4 weeks in, I say, attention, this is a reminder that, X, but what I put in there is education about Shakeology, because that's an opportunity to teach them why it is important. I put in that short little video. It used to be called Nutrition Simplified. I think it's called What's in Shakeology now. It's 1 minute. It talks about everything you'd have to eat in order to get what's in one serving of Shakeology. And I give my own Shakeology testimony of what it's done for me. And then I list the reminder. And with that reminder, I don't say, if you want to cancel, you can cancel. I say something like, if you want to make any changes to your flavor, or if you need to change your ship date or something like that. So I put it in that, that positive way, but I'm giving them that reminder, and they really respect that they're not going to be surprised by getting, a shipment. Then also a couple of other things. I direct message anybody who is not participating. If I notice that they're not checking in several days in a row, I message them. A lot of my coaches ask me this. Do you call people out? And what I do is, I'll tag them and I'll just say, hey, Charlotte, how did it go yesterday? I didn't see your check-in. Just those little nudges to kind of say, yes, I'm paying attention. I see when you're participating and I notice when you're gone. If that doesn't encourage them enough to get re-engaged, I will send them a private message. That's when I'll just say, hey, I noticed you haven't been engaged in the group. Is there anything I can help you with? Anything that's going on? And a lot of times it's, oh my gosh, I just got so busy, or they've had something happen in their life. And that's when that relationship, again, you have to go back to the relationship and the importance of that. So if that happens, sometimes I'll say, I completely understand. I run one of these groups every month. If you feel like it would be better for you to just bow out right now and pick back up in the next month, you're more than welcome to do that. I'm always giving them that option. I also direct message people who are great with check-ins, and you've probably heard this on some of the national wake-up calls, but people who are great with check-ins and they're constantly encouraging others, and I start to plant seeds with them about coaching. Now, I don't email them immediately and say, hey, you're awesome with your check-ins, and I see that you're encouraging other people. Don't you want to be a coach? I bet I bet you're interested in being a coach. Instead, I'm just planting seeds. I just message them and I say, I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you're so great with your daily check-ins. Or, hey, I noticed that you've been responding to other people's questions, or you've been providing encouragement, and that's awesome. I know they really appreciate that. So it's simple messages, but it's planting those seeds that they're already doing some of the things that coaches do. And then as the group is going on, I'm making a list of anyone that I think would make a great coach. And some of the things I look for is they start raving about Shakeology. You know, they're somebody who started and they get going in the group and they message a week in and just say, I can't believe how much I love Shakeology. It's giving me so much energy. That person goes on my list of somebody to talk to about it, because they're probably going to end up telling other people about it. They're great at encouraging others. Like I mentioned, you know, they're saying things to others. They're lifting each other up. They're cheering each other on. They're giving resources. There's a lot of times that you have people in groups where they'll come in and they'll say, hey, I found this recipe online. Those kinds of things. And they just take a lead in the group. Those are the people that I'm writing down to talk to about coaching. I also offer opportunities for them to lead. So this came up actually yesterday from one of my new coaches. She posted on our team page and she said, you know, I was kind of trained to always do 4-week groups. She's one of my coaches. And I noticed that the Hammer and Chisel program is 60 days long. Do you guys do 60-day groups, or do you stick with 4-week groups? And this is what I do personally. I have done 60, I've even done 90-day groups. Don't do it. By the end, you will want to shoot yourself. It's just too much. So I like to end on a high note. I want my clients to feel like, oh, I don't want it to be over. I want a little bit more. So my groups are always 4 weeks, even if it's a 60 or a 90-day program. But what I do with the longer programs is, so for example, for Hammer and Chisel in January, I will say, you know, this program is 60 days. I'm going to be working alongside you on a daily basis for the first 4 weeks. We're going to set a solid foundation for you to be successful with this program. You can expect, you know, daily posts and check-ins from me for the first 4 weeks. For the remainder of the time, this group will remain open, but I won't be posting daily for the second 60 days. If you guys want to continue to check in, you can, you know, all of that kind of stuff. It's still going to be here to support you, but I just won't be providing daily, you know, coaching. And the main reason for that is because I do a new group each month. And if I had groups that were running over, I'd be running like 5 groups at a time or something. But what I do there is then I reach out to those people who I already mentioned, who were doing great at checking in regularly and leading and all that stuff. And I say, will you help me keep this group going for the second 30 days? You know, just pop in and give encouragement, whatever. And that is giving them a taste of coaching. So for the second 30 days, they're helping to kind of just keep people on track. I step back and I don't have to take the lead anymore, but it's still providing that, and it's giving them a taste of what it would be like as a coach. So then I wrap up at the end, and wrapping up is really important because it's important not to just, you know, say, okay, great, we're done, everybody, good luck, but to give them, you know, specific kind of next steps. So I give specific directions. I have a post that I use each time, and I'm happy to share this with Deborah, and she can share it with you. But it's the exact same thing that I post at the end of each of my groups. And I say, you know, awesome job completing, you know, it's day 21, we're wrapping up. Here's what I need you to do as we wrap up. Number 1, it's results time. Take your final measurements, your weight, your after picture, revisit the goals that you set at the beginning of this group, and take a look at your results. Number 2, share your accomplishments. And I encourage them to share them in the group. I say you do not have to post your before and after pictures. If you don't want to share your stats, you don't have to. But we want to celebrate what you accomplished during this time. And I even say, you know, for some of you, that might be just a mental shift in how you think about, you know, your health and fitness on a daily basis. For some of you, it might be that you couldn't do push-ups at the beginning, but now you can. It doesn't have to be a scale-related goal. So I say share your accomplishments. Number 3, pay it forward. Do you know someone else who could benefit from being in a group like this? Tell them about it. I say I welcome referrals all the time, and I would love to have you repeat a group and to bring a friend or a family member along with you to the next one. Number 4, write a quick testimonial about participating in this group. I want to hear from you about what this experience was like for you. Was it helpful? Did it make a difference? And I say this does not need to be long. It can be just a few sentences about what this meant to you and how it helped you. That one is key, you guys, because that's how you collect testimonials to share as success stories for, you know, with your posts and also with clients who maybe are on the fence. I just saw a question pop up. What was number one? Number one was they just need to tally their own results. So they need to do their own results. Number two is share kind of their results and their accomplishments. Number three was pay it forward. 4 was the testimonial. And then 5 was choose what's next for you. And I give them these options. Number 1, join my next challenge group. So I always give my clients the option to roll over into another group. The only requirement I have is that they continue with Shakeology. So they have to be on Shakeology Home Direct in order to just repeat groups of mine. If they are somebody who cancels and then 6 months later messages me and wants to be in a group, I check to see when their last order was, and I just say the only thing that's required is that you're going to need Shakeology on a daily basis. If you want to repeat the same fitness program you did, I'm okay with that, but you need Shakeology. So number 1 was join my next group. Number 2 was, do you need to change it up? Do you feel like you're a little bored, or maybe you feel like you've plateaued? Then let's talk about what the next program for you might be. So maybe it's somebody who's done 3 rounds of 21-Day Fix, and it's time to talk to them about 21-Day Fix Extreme. Number 3, join my team and help me to lead my next group. I put that right out there. I just say, if you loved this and you feel like this is something you can do, I'm going to be running another group in just a couple weeks. Why don't you co-lead it with me? Join my team. Number 4 is, have you found Shakeology to be a game changer for you, but you're not ready, necessarily to coach yet? I can talk to you a little bit about how you can get a discount. And in that, I will talk to them both about club membership and how coaches can get discounts. Now, let me just say with that, I do not recommend building your business on discount coaches, on people who just want 25% off. I generally wait for somebody to be committed to Shakeology for like 6 months before I will say, hey, you're a committed user of Shakeology. Here's how you can get a discount. That's just me. Because I find if they've only done it for 1 month, they might not be quite committed enough yet. But I do say there's ways to get discounts, and because that can lead to a conversation where you're able to tell them more about coaching. And then the last option I give them, I just say, or at this point you can gracefully bow out. This does not mean you quit. I'm still here and I'm available to you as you need me, but maybe you just feel like this was good for me. I'm good to go on my own for a while. And then I just let them know they can reach out to me again if they're ready to get started, or if they want to pick back up. So yeah, that is basically what I do. I know it's a lot, it was a mouthful, but it's become a system to me that I don't really even have to think about. A couple things I didn't mention was I said that I do the check-in at the end of the day. I get questions about this a lot. I tell my clients, whoever posts their check-in first starts the thread for the check-ins of the day. Everybody else should comment on that post. And I tell them, please do this because it makes it a lot easier for me to see all of your results, all of your check-ins in one place and to provide feedback. You might be able to learn from the feedback that I give someone else. So then in the morning, all I have to do is find that check-in thread. I comment on each post. I say, great job, or what did you struggle with, or, all that kind of stuff. And then I do my post for the day. It also releases me from having to go in every night and say, okay, it's time to check in. Everybody check in here. I just tell them whoever starts it should start the thread. And then the second thing is I have all of my challenge group posts in my own documents, just like how Beachbody has created theirs. I've saved mine. So I'm just copying and pasting every morning. And I tweak it based on the time of year or maybe the people that are in the group and conversations that we've had. But for the most part, the content is staying the same. And if I have clients that repeat groups, I tell them, you're going to be getting the same content that you got last time, because I'm not going to create new material every single month, right? So I tell them you're going to be getting a lot of the same content, but you're going to be getting that accountability, which I know is what's really important to you. So that's it. Does anybody have any questions?
I do have your challenge group posts, Lindy.
Yeah.
Can I share them?
Sure.
I do the same thing as you. I have my posts in a document, and I have those out on our team drive. And A lot of the stuff that you have is similar, but I do the prep week too. I think that's really important. I love your wrap up. That's really, really, really huge. And I know last month I actually used your 5-point check-in system in my group. So people really seem to like that. And now I had some questions. I'll let people gather their thoughts. So you answered the question about repeating the same post. So you have people, they know up front they're going to get the same content. So that's good. I like the fact that you are requiring Shakeology to repeat, because that was another question. People want to roll and roll and roll. So assuming that to get into your challenge group, they have to have Shakeology and a fitness program.
Yes. Yeah. I pretty much always require a challenge pack for initial entry into a group. I've gotten to a point with my business where I can do that. When coaches are first starting out, I think that's a little tougher. They might have to let people in by doing a fitness program or Shakeology. Obviously challenge packs are the better deal, but I've built enough of a reputation around my business that I don't really have a problem requiring a challenge pack purchase, especially because, 21 Day Fix is usually either 140 or 160. So it's not ridiculous. But yes, I do require Shakeology to keep going, because otherwise people will just take advantage and they'll just keep rolling through your groups. And I will be honest, you guys, I've said to people before, the way that I phrase this is that if they get a challenge pack, they get my coaching for free. Mm-hmm. That's the best way to put it, because then you're saying to them, I'm not going to charge you extra for the online group or for my personal attention for the next 4 weeks. It's packaged into the challenge pack. So that's the way that I explain it in order to sell a challenge pack. And like I said, that's how I've, been able to get Success Club 10 for almost 40 months in a row, is because of that. But then I do have a lot of repeat clients and, people who've already purchased challenge packs, and yeah, I just require Shakeology then.
So
one other thing.
Go ahead.
Sorry, one other thing. I do, like you said, I repeat posts so they know they're going to get the same content, except when it's like seasonal stuff. So like right now, I'm running a 21 Day Fix group right now. They're getting all the same posts, but I'm throwing in holiday tips. So that's the only times that I do different extras.
Now, I have a lot of times when I talk to existing or past customers about joining a group, and they'll say, yeah, I'm all in. I've got my 21 Day Fix. I'm ready to go. I said, oh, great. So let's talk about your Shakeology. Oh, well, because I know they don't have a current SIS order. And they'll say, oh, I still have some left from whatever.
Yeah.
And so how do you handle that?
I've had that happen before too. That's a tough one, because I do understand if they've, gotten overstocked or whatever. Sometimes I will it depends on the client. If I feel like they're a good client, they're probably going to reorder again, that kind of thing. I base it on my relationship with them and stuff. But I do have some people that I just know are just trying to take advantage, and I'll say, I would be happy to have you in the group if you find one other friend to do it with you or something. So I try to get a referral out of it and try and get a new challenge pack order out of that. I'll be honest, you guys, sometimes I have said, ordering something is really the only way that I get paid for my time. Like my groups are free, and that's the reason why I require it. I'm happy to have you in, but I just want you to know that next time it's going to require that you get another order of Shakeology or something like that.
And that's what I was thinking too, for that person that says, oh, I've got, a bag on hand, to do that kind of conversation and let them know that next time, you're going to be looking for that.
Yeah.
Then do you allow your coaches to invite their customers into your group?
Yes and no. So I generally, our team, always posts when there's groups going on and they plug each other in. I always let my new coaches put people in, and my new coaches join in too and do that. And I always run mine alongside my new coaches for the first couple of months. Now I feel like my team has enough, like where people are like, I have a group going on. If you need any, we do that a lot, that I don't end up having a lot of mine, but I absolutely will let people plug their clients into my group. But then I ask that coach then to step up and help. I say, okay, I need you to keep track of your client. How about we divide up the posts to take some of the work load off of me?
Right. And then you make sure that they have the same expectation of their clients as you.
Yes.
Okay. Do you allow other people to post in your page, or is it admin only? in your group?
You mean like clients to post?
Yeah.
Yeah, I let them. Yeah, and that I kind of depend on the size of the group. So like when 21 Day Fix first launched, I had 45 people in challenge groups. I actually divided it up into 3 groups of 15, and I just went into each group because I feel like when the groups are too big, people get lost in the shuffle and they don't feel like they're getting that personal attention and all that. So it depends on the size of the group. If the group is really big, I'll make it admin only, and then they can only comment on posts. But normally I limit my groups to being about 10 to 12 people, no more than that, because I find that that's kind of the sweet spot where it feels like there's enough energy, but it's not so big that people feel like they're getting lost.
Okay. All right. So we have a couple questions.
Sure.
Brandon asked about your post to get
Mm-hmm.
people into your challenge group. Do you have a post that you've been particularly successful with?
You mean just like my public posts advertising my groups and
stuff?
Do
you do a post? Do you do an event? How do you?
No, I've just started playing around with the event thing. When Hammer and Chisel came out, we did a team-wide event where we just invited people, and then through the month of November, I was posting stuff about Hammer and Chisel to get people excited. So I was posting success stories and all that kind of stuff. I do think that's a great idea, especially when there's a brand new program. I don't do that every month for my groups. I just do general, posts where I'll share, usually I'll share a success story. I'll share a before and after or a testimonial. And then I'll just say, my next group is starting, X. If you're interested, let's talk, or, whatever. I'll be honest. I have a lot of people that come to me now. I'm at a point with my business where I have a lot of people that have just kind of seen what I'm doing, regularly, and they'll come to me without me having to solicit a lot for challenge groups. But in the beginning, I had to promote them a lot. And so that's what I would do, is use success stories most of the time, because that's what people respond to the best.
Yeah. So before and after picture type things?
Yes. Yeah. Before and after pictures or quotes. I even have, I've had great responses for quotes where I'll just post something like, like I did a couple weeks ago, a lady who went, shopping, and she was able to get size 6 skinny jeans, and last Christmas she was buying size 10s. I just put her quote in there, and I just said, if you're ready to make a change, let's talk. And it may not be specifically, I'm doing a challenge group type post. It may just be something that's like, hey, let's talk. And then once we start talking, that's when I make the, give them the information about the group and invite them to be a part of that.
Okay.
A lot of my posts are really more just, they're more just like general what I offer as a coach post. They're not really promotional challenge group posts. They're just more like, I can help you with this. Do you struggle with this? Let's talk. All that kind of stuff. And then it's in the actual conversation with the person where I start talking to them about their goals and their needs and all of that. And then I tell them what I do as a coach, and then I say, here's how I do it. It's part of a group where you're with other people, and that's when they kind of learn about that, rather than always posting like, my next group, my next group, my next group.
Yeah, good. Planting seeds, telling.
That's another question. What if they ask, what is your fee if I don't get a challenge pack? Yeah, I've actually done that. And I charge $50. I've done it a couple of times. Most times I'll say, but here's the thing. You can either pay $50 to be in the group, and you're not getting product in return. You're just getting my coaching, or you can get my coaching for free, and you can get the tools you need to be successful with fitness and nutrition. More often than not, they'll opt for going ahead and investing in the products and tools. Actually, 50. I think it's 50 for 4 weeks is what I've done. I think I've only had people do that 4 times. Most times people are like, oh, okay, I think I'll go ahead and get a program.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't think you would have an answer for that.
No, I've done it because you have to, what's the word I'm looking for? Put value on what you do. If you give it away for free, people will expect it for free.
Right.
So and that's why I've always required challenge groups or challenge packs or Shakeology. And I say, if they're not a ongoing client and they don't want to buy anything to get in, I'll charge $50, because what we do is valuable. It takes our time, and you want people to respect your business as a coach.
I'll ask the last question unless anybody else has one. Do you run free groups as well as a way to build some relationships and add value?
Yes, definitely. I don't do them every month like a lot of people do, mostly just because because I've gotten to a point where I don't need to, but there's times when I'll feel like, okay, I feel like I'm my market is kind of like I'm not getting new people and that kind of thing, and then I'll put one out there. So I would say I probably run a free group once a quarter, or maybe a little bit more than that. But a lot of my new coaches are doing them once a month, just while they're building their network and trying to get that. For free groups, I never do more than 5 days. I always do a Monday to Friday group, so it's not a long commitment. It's just, straightforward. Usually it's like a seasonal thing, like 5 tips to survive the holidays, or 5, post-holiday detox tips, or, something like that. But I don't have to do a ton of free groups. Right now I'm doing something new that I'm trying. I did like this 12 days of fitness thing. This is just kind of an idea for next Christmas. It started on the 13th and it goes through the 24th. And I'm just doing like a little giveaway a day. And the great thing about it is that it's set up as an event instead of a group. So it's a public event, so anybody can see it really when I'm hosting. And I'm having a lot of engagement from people that I've never spoken to, because they're seeing that one of their friends is commenting on my giveaway of the day, and then they're commenting, and then I'm able to add them as a friend and start a relationship with them. And I'm just doing like little freebies. Like today is a free pack of Shakeology, and I said, here's how you can be entered to win. Comment below and tell me, do you ever skip meals? And everybody is commenting on whether or not they skip meals throughout the day, because then it's going to be my opportunity to say, hey, if you skip meals a lot, here's a really easy solution for you, Shakeology. Here's the winner of the day. Anybody else, who wants to talk about how easy it is to incorporate this, let's talk, that kind of thing. So.
Like that. I'm doing a 12 days of fitness, and I like yours a lot better.
Well, thanks.
Okay, so last question on your free groups. Do you just let your coaches run their own? You don't do it as a team?
Yeah, we've done some as a team. I mean, a little bit of both. I find that I'm a very like independent worker, and I've attracted a lot of coaches that are that same way because of it. But we'll do some as a team, and I definitely do them alongside my new coaches as they're getting settled. But for the most part, yeah, I just kind of run them on my own.
Perfect. Does anybody else have any additional questions? I got lots of good stuff, so I hope it's good. Thank you so much, Lindy. Have a Merry Christmas.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.